47 feet of oil is waiting to challenge the players. Coming up next in our Scorpion round of 4. And hello again, everyone. Mike Jakubowski with 13-time winner on the PBA Tour and Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. Kimberly Pressler rounds out our crew. The longest oil pattern here at Geico PBA World Series of Bowling is coming. Randy, featured today, we've got a Hall of Famer, an old pro, a young gun, and a wild card.
Parker Bohn III won for the 35th time just a few weeks ago on the shortest oil pattern, Cheetah. No big surprise. He loves throwing it hard. He loves playing the outside line, and he's won on Cheetah before. But now he's trying to win on the longest oil pattern we're using here at the World Series.
35.
Lonnie Waliczek comes in with 2 career titles to his credit, but it's been 12 years since Lotto last won. Jason Sterner's coming in with 1 career title, and he did it in grand fashion back in 2013, bowling .299 in the title match against Watt. And then there's Jon Van Hees, who's trying to do what 2 others have done at this year's World Series, and that's win for the first time. Mike J., it's anybody's ball game today.
Simultaneous semifinals coming your way next, and Kimberly Pressler is working laneside today. Kimberly.
I sure am, and I'm with Parker Bohn. Parker, so you won the Cheetah Champion just a few weeks ago, which is the shortest pattern, but this is the longest pattern. What adjustments do you have to make in order to win on this oil?
Well, for starters, I'm going to move up about 18 inches on the approach and try to really maintain keeping my ball speed slow. Everyone knows I like to go after it and keep it firm. If I keep it firm right now, the ball will go right through the back end and it will never pick up.
Well, good luck to you today.
Thank you.
Looks like Parker Bohn is hoping to make this his 36th PBA Tour title.
47 feet of lubricity. This pattern's going to play really, really slick. The players are going to have to keep the ball on a very tight line to the pocket. Remember, the lane is only 60 feet in length. That gives the players about, 10 feet of back end, and then you've got the pin deck.
Simultaneous semifinals, continuation of match play that we saw in the rounds of 16 and 8 will compete side by side here as Jason Sterner taking on Parker Bohn III will get the opening shot. Simultaneous semifinals, the winners will face each other in the title match. Here's the opening pitch in the Scorpion. Between second and third arrow. Beautiful strike for Sterner.
And there were three 300 games bowled on Scorpion this week. Sam Cooley, Ryan Graywatch, and Devin Bidwell.
Jon Van Hees making his television debut out of Charlestown, Rhode Island. Impressed with Jon right out of the gate in the interview. He is ready to compete. Little further outside. Good opening shot from Van Hees, and look at those eyes, Randy.
Yeah, he's really good at rolling ball and staying underneath, and that's what you have to do on this long pattern. Great opening shot, first time ever on television for Jon. Parker
Bohn III, 52 out of Jackson, New Jersey, going up against Sterner. Already a winner here at the World Series of Bowling.
Parker's got the whole left side of the lane to himself. 3 right-handers, 1 southpaw. Good to see Lonnie Waliczek back in action. Wichita, Kansas, 18 years on tour, 2 tour titles. Said he was nervous coming in, but he had a great look in practice.
And it doesn't seem as long in my mind as it has been since the last time I was on television. Opening shot for Waliczek.
Nice.
Good mixing strike in the pocket. Waliczek and Van Hees strike apiece. Next shot is Parker Bohn going up against Jason Sterner. What challenges do more oil present?
Well, there's not a lot of ball motion, and so you have to keep your lines and your angles very straight, very tight. Keep your target in front of you. This is a type of pattern where you look for hold versus swing. Mistake area's got to be in. Oh boy.
Oh boy, but good result.
Yeah, another guy that can stay up the back and roll it really good. That's what you're going to see out of Jason, Jonathan, and Lonnie. Parker does the same thing, not quite the rev rate, but he's great at keeping it online.
Van Hees coming off triple hernia in March. He's used rehab and he's cleaned up his diet, and he's taken off a good 15 pounds. He's ready for action. Stays a little wide, but he rolls a 2.
That'll loosen your swing up.
Jason Sterner has really changed his mental approach.
Gotta love his game.
Opening turkey. He's really just trying to keep it simple.
Look how thin in the face he is.
I'm telling you, he's in fantastic shape. 4-pin for Van Hees. Today's Columbia 300 fun fact: Van Hees and Parker Bohn III made the cut to Scorpion match play by a combined total of just 8 pins. Parker Bohn now working third frame on the double. Oh, he was in the nose, maximum penalty, 4-6 split.
Well, he missed right and paid for it.
Spare for Van Hees. 245 players in the World Series this year from 21 countries, tying a record. Parker Bohn cleans up the count, and the open frame trails now by 24 pins. That one gets away. 3-6, 9-10.
Looked like he got real quick in the downswing, and well, I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a tough spare to shoot at, the 3-6, 9-10 when you have no back end.
Maybe not. Parker Bohn III came in the Scorpion on the number in 24th in match play. He defeated Sam Cooley, Ryan Graywas, and then Anthony Simonson to get here. Back over to Waliczek, who's got the 3-6, 10 with the sleeper 9 to contend with. Excellent conversion.
Yeah, you have no idea how
Why
good
is that so excellent?
Well, because you got to cover the back pin, and there's no back end ball reaction. So how are you going to drive the 9-pin out? You got to basically do exactly what Lonnie just did there, and you've got about an inch of mistake room left and right. Look at this. Here's your hammer tough spare replay, and for good reason. 3-6, 9-10. When your ball's backing up in it.
Parker Bohn picks up his spare, and the two-time PBA Tour titleist Lonnie Waliczek looking for a third here today. Through the blue, 10 in the pit.
Good shot.
Our PBA Scorpion Championship will roll on. Opening match continues when we return to Reno. The National Bowling Stadium, established in 1995 as the Taj Mahal of 10 pins, premier tournament facility for the greatest bowlers in the world. Scorpion tournament highlights the round of 8. Parker Bohn III 3-2 over Anthony Simonson. Jason Sterner advancing 3-1 over E.J. Tackett. Lonnie Waliczek advances 3-0, and Jon Van Hees 3-2. A couple of roll-offs in the Parker Bohn III and Anthony Simonson match. Game 4 roll-off with an 8 count from Simonson. 9 or better to win Game 4, and Parker drops the Hall of Fame elbow and forces a deciding Game 5. We roll ahead to another roll-off. Stone 9-pin. Striker better for Parker Bohn III to advance to the semifinal. No doubt struck. After already building a Hall of Fame career, let's find out what keeps Parker Bohn III motivated.
To be out on the PBA Tour and still want to win as much as I did over the last 30 years, honestly, is my children. My kids try to, Dad, come on, you got to go out there. You have to go out there. We want you to win. And when I look at their faces and how dejected they get when it doesn't turn out the way that we want it to, they feel it. So now I think that my kids give me that little extra drive to go out there and want to win more and more. I try to spend as much time as I can on the lanes. Now it's quality time. When I go out there to practice, I may not practice as much as I did as a kid, but I really do look at constructively the quality practice session that I can get in. That way, when I leave and get off the lanes, I can literally flip the book, close the book, and go right into the family time and enjoy the time that I can with my kids. My children and the times that we have shared together, Leslie, myself, and our family, those times, they're priceless. They really are.
The family that plays together stays together. Parker Bohn, while we were away, picked up this washout to keep the match with Sterner within 24 pins. Jason Sterner up in the 4th frame, trying to extend his lead, and can't shake out the 5-pin. 5th frame, Sterner explodes the rack with that strike. Back over to Jon Van Hees and Lonnie Waliczek. Van Hees up 3 with a spare working 4th frame. Powerful strike from Jon Van Hees, looking to double up and extend his lead, and he does so, plus 13. Waliczek trying to maintain pace, strike working 5th frame. Right hit, 2-4-5. Picked up the spare, working in the 6th, and trips this 4-pin. Big break for Waliczek. The PBA Scorpion Championship rolls on at the Kingpin Club. It's Mike Jakubowski with PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler. Jason Sterner up 29 over Parker Bohn III in one semifinal. In our other semifinal, Jon Van Hees, 4 out of 5 strikes, has a 13-pin advantage over Lonnie Waliczek. Jon Van Hees likes to stay straight with simple moves, likes to keep everything in front of him. 6th frame, couple strikes working. And mixing hit roller, no, 7-pin.
Good shot, though. Rolling it nicely, keeping it in front of him, meaning nice and straight through the front part of the lane. Right now, ball reaction-wise, it's shaping up to be Jason Sterner, Jonathan Van Hees show for the title, as you see Jason Sterner's arsenal, mastermind, intellect, something I've never been accused of being.
You sell yourself short. Sterner, strike working, lead against Bohn. 6th frame, hook a little, got it. 39-pin lead.
Hard to believe his last show was 2013. As good as he throws it.
Physical talent, and we spoke about him cleaning up his metal game. Return to that in just a moment. Jon Van Hees has a 7-pin to pick up. And Sterner just talked about eliminating distractions.
Well, and that's the only thing that makes sense, because when you watch his physical game, you watch somebody throw it that good, the only other explanation is what's going on with that thing sitting on his shoulders.
Jon Van Hees got a little extra communication from home, which provided support from his fiance, and it has lifted him. Here's the Nirvana, strongest ball in his bag. 7th frame.
That was a really good shot. He's going to move just a little bit to the left on the approach, and maybe a little bit to the left with his target. But that was a good pitch from Jonathan Van Hees. Another Nirvana. Going down the lane for Parker Bohn III. And a good shot there for Parker.
Parker, much needed strength. He's going to need sheet and help. Van Hees, in his talk with his fiance, she just reminded him, this is where your heart is. All the work you've done since March, come back, and something clipped through, and Jonathan propels himself to this spot. Parker Bohn trails by 49. 2:30 still remaining. And oh boy, results in a 6-pin. Something's off. What do you see?
Well, he's gotten a couple shots outside of his target, and on 47 feet, it's not going to hook back. Lonnie Waliczek's arsenal, Revolt, Havoc.
The 9-point rating is on a scale of 10, indicates hook potential, 10 being the highest.
Close.
7-10 split. And if the 7-10 split is left in this case, the The ultimate spare bonus is in effect $100,000, courtesy of Ultimate Bowling with a conversion.
Come on, Lonnie.
Gave it a run. Open frame. Sterner looking to extend his lead. 8th frame.
Hello.
Yeah, Messenger gets it. And out come the guns. Here's your Barbasol close shave of the day.
Sterner's got a great look and a great ball reaction, and then when you throw some really good pin carry on top of that, that's a great formula to have.
Waliczek
Uh-oh.
almost crumbled the bucket. Really needed that. He trails by 25. Foundation frame. Sterner in command.
Bowling great. He's got a great look, and he's bowling great. Some nice pin carry to go with it, and he's going to bowl a big game. Hard, too, when you're doing it against a fellow staffer and somebody with the character of Parker Bohn III, but this is business, and he knows it. Parker knows it. Jason Sterner can strike out for 279. Parker Bohn III. Another great week, but no chance of winning this game.
Extends his Hall of Fame resume with his 35th career
Almost
title.
had you right where I wanted you.
One of the elder statesmen of the game, and always has been the kindest of competitors.
Well, he's a gentleman, and multiple Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award winner, and just a great talent and a great guy.
Van Hees, 6 around the 10 roller, is going to get in front.
Van Hees is going to find a home, and as soon as his angle changes just a little bit, his carry's going to change as well.
Bohn picks up the spare, won't be enough on this occasion. Heard it roll over the thumb hole, didn't we?
Yeah, end over end, you know, the spare ball is end over end. It's going to clip that thumb. Parker wants this to be over, and I don't blame him.
Championship match is next between these two winners. Sterner's already in. Who joins him?
Push a little bit.
Did not push. Greek Church.
Lonnie Waliczek is back in that match. Oh, unlucky.
Count here, or do you go for it?
If he gets 8, he'd have 179 in the 9th, and he would still have a lead. But Lonnie Waliczek can strike out and shut him out.
Open frame, just 7-pin lead for Van Hees. Sterner will advance.
Lonnie Waliczek can still shoot 212. Best Jonathan Van Hees can shoot 209. And what a look does Jason Sterner have.
Kept it in play, 10-pin stands.
Good shot, flat 10. Still has some life.
Sterner will have a fill ball to stay in rhythm.
Waliczek needs to convert here and then strike out in the 10th, or at least double in 9. He needs a double. A double in 9 pins.
Fill ball for Sterner to shoot 258.
Needed a belt, you buddy.
257. And Jason Sterner advances to the title match. His opponent, it's unclear at this point.
Lonnie Waliczek needs to throw a double in 9 to force Jonathan Van Hees to double.
10th frame.
Sit. Nice. He can't shut him out, but he can make him show up. 257 for Jason Sterner.
Waliczek examining the scoreboard, getting all the math right. For execution, Lonnie's going to take time. That's just his manner.
A lot of pressure on Jonathan. Let's see if Lonnie can add to that. Look at those eyes. Talk about focus. This is what makes sports fun, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Coming through in the moment. Left of target.
Right off the hand, and the 3-9-10 split.
He needs to get 2 of these to force him to mark. Nope, just 1 to force him to mark.
Lonnie also double checking. Doesn't like what he sees. Scoreboard or lanes. Picks up the spare on the outside, and 191 for Lonnie Waliczek.
Any mark, Van Hees bowls for the title. Biggest shot of his young career right here.
Coming back from physical distress, the work, the rehab, the mental game, getting through this event, qualifying, match play, and it comes down to this to advance to your first title match, 10th frame. And you deliver.
Making them all week long. Let's go. Come on.
What a brilliant shot that was.
Jason Sterner eliminates Parker Bohn III. Jon Van Hees eliminates Lonnie Waliczek. Van Hees, Sterner, 1 title when we return. One of the most beautiful sights on earth. High sky and the waters and the pines of Lake Tahoe. Here in the Reno area, and here's our title match. Pair of righties, pair of branded teammates. And they will go head-to-head in our title match. Sterner defeating Hall of Famer Parker Bohn III. Van Hees dispatching Lonnie Waliczek. And time now to flash back with Ebonite.
Ebonite Flashback is the 2011 Scorpion event. And bowling in his first ever TV finals, Dom Barrett perseveres through a unique format, surviving a 4-person opening match shootout that involved Patrick Allen, Dave Watka, and Sean Rash. He eventually would take down Sean Rash in the title match, 247 to 204, to earn his first ever career title. Beautiful high backswing, lots of power, a trip 4, and the first career title for Dom Barrett.
The Dominator at the World Series of Bowling. Jason Sterner, Jon Van Hees, 1 champion. Uninterrupted title matches coming your way next. Mike Jakubowski, Randy Peterson with Kimberly Pressler. We roll on at King Pig Club in the National Bowling Stadium. PBA Scorpion Championship title match is coming. Randy, what's left of the 47-foot Scorpion oil pattern?
Well, you can see the marks where their laydown area is, but it's starting to get pretty thin right around this mark here, right around the 11th, 12th board. The players are going to be a little bit left of that, but the lines through the front part of the lane still have to be fairly straight.
Jason Sterner chose to begin the match. He wants to finish on the right lane. We have moved to the middle of the King Pig Club. Lanes in the middle become our new pair, as each player has bowled on one and not the other to keep things fair.
Come on. Come on.
Comes up light, bucket combo.
We had such a good look in match number 1, bowling 257. Very good. First ball goes light on the left lane. I was a little surprised that he would have chosen to finish on the right lane.
Tournament stats provided by Roltech. Jason Sterner only missed one multi-pin spare conversion in this event. 94+%. This is a decided multi-pin spare attempt. And he missed.
I'll make it 2. Not the way you want to start the title match.
Jon Van Hees, his first title match, in his first television appearance. 7 of 12 strikes in the semifinal.
Looks like he's going to a different ball to start this match.
That's tight on the nose. 3-pin.
Yeah, but only leaving the 3-pin. Nice break going through the nose. Easy spare attempt coming up. Right up the back of the bowling ball. I love that. That's what you got to do on this pattern. Roll it end over end. Keep everything in front of you. When the front part breaks down, chase it in.
Jon Van Hees has a couple of regional titles coming in 2005 and 7. Pro shop owner and amateur baseball player, multi-talented Jon Van Hees. Spare on the board, early lead, championship match, second frame. First crack at what is now the left lane. Mixing 7-pin.
Another good shot, just a little bit light. I only remember making really one bad shot. That was the last game in frame 9. He went through the nose, leaving the Greek church, but was really managed his game nicely today. Boy, Dick Weber used to make a small fortune with that shot there. Only he would carry the 5 and the 7.
Famous wall shot, Dick Weber. Couple spares for Jon Van Hees. No strikes yet after the high scoring affair that Jason Sterner put on with 8 of his 11 in the semifinal. Second frame after the open. First time in the right lane. This is where he wanted to finish. And you might see why.
Yeah. A great point there, Mike. Pretty good ball reaction there. Nice result.
For Jason Sterner, the longer the pattern, the more he can use his forward roll. Explain how he does that here.
Keeps his hand up the back of the ball. Yeah, uses very little rotation. This next shot for me is key after the open in the first frame.
Can amend for the miscue by doubling to even things up. Third frame, championship match. Looked a bit inside, and he pays the full price. 4-6 split.
Boy. Went light on that lane in the first. Comes back, tugs it, goes through the nose, and leaves the 4-6.
Van Hees has yet to strike here in the title match. Scoring pace has slowed down significantly. This is a grind out thus far.
Ball change. Back to the ball used in game 1. Ooh, good shot.
Time now for the track tech talk concerning Jon Van Hees.
Yeah, and a little different here at the foul line. Watch the trail leg. You see where this foot is right here. You normally see that with the shorter players like an E.J. Tackett, a Ronnie Russell, but it's that power move where the players kind of use the floor with their lower body and kind of explode up to create power.
Kimberly Pressler is laneside. Kimberly.
Thanks, Mike. Parker, not the way you wanted this to end. Disappointing loss for you, but it seems that you couldn't find your stride out there. What was going on with you?
Well, I'm going to say a little bit is adrenaline. Adrenaline gets going. Although I try to slow down, I was creeping and crawling up. I felt like I could add a cup of coffee before the ball hit the pins, but needless to say, I kept throwing it a little bit firmer than I needed to, and it never read the rain properly.
Well, your World Series is not over. We're still going to see you in the PBA Challenge, and you are going to go up against Emleto Monicelli. So good luck there.
Thank you very much. I'll look forward to it.
Guys, back to you.
First strike for Van Hees. Not the prettiest, but it's an X on the board. Back over to Jason Sterner, fourth frame, now trails by 21 pins.
Do the right thing.
10 pin.
Now, as good as his carry was in game one, Mike, I mentioned it about Jonathan Van Hees. Jonathan's carry wasn't that good. And I said, well, you know what? He's throwing it really good. As soon as that pattern breaks down and he moves in a little bit, his angle's going to change. That's exactly what's happened to Jason Sterner. His angle's changed, carry's affected.
That is a spare. Ball got the pin. Just slid the 10 over.
Thank God for that extra coat of paint on that pin.
Let's take a rewrite.
Be sure to stay logged into PBA.com for all the latest PBA news, player updates, tournament results, and promotions, including the latest from PBA partner Barbasol. Click on the Barbasol link at PBA.com for more information on a special offer just for PBA fans. Probably a good time for a re-rack there. Sterner recollecting himself, fifth frame. He trails by 21.
See if he can hit the pocket on this lane.
The left has been troublesome. 6 around the 10, closer.
That's trouble. And what it does to the psyche is even worse because he comes back finally with his A shot on that lane and gets 9. 6 pin around the 10. Now that shot has to strike for him to feel good about what he's doing.
Cleaner spare, and Jason Sterner trails by 22. Title match, PBA Scorpion Championship.
Just going a little long.
Fifth frame, Ben. He's going to extend his lead. Mixing strike. Double.
Very impressed with his performance thus far. He's really made some quality shots, made the right choices with equipment. His speed is such where his ball will read if he gets it just a little bit right as long as he throws it well, and that's exactly what this shot did. And the pins cooperated.
In the debut effort on television, Jon Van Hees beat a PBA Tour champion in the semifinal, Lonnie Waliczek, and now going up against another trying to earn his first PBA Tour title. As of now, he's in the driver's seat, plus 32. He can step on the gas with another strike, sixth frame.
Impressive. He used that other ball for just 2 shots and went back to the ball he used the first match.
Turkey's good decision. How do you make it that quickly?
Well, you make that decision based on experience and trust in your ability and trust in what you see in front of you, and you can't hesitate. And he didn't. He made the right choice. You know, we see a lot of veterans that don't pull that move off that quickly, and Jonathan went right to it.
Sterner in the hole, sixth frame. Good shot, splits the 8 and 9. Sterner has yet to double. Van Hees on the turkey, but now Sterner can double. Key shot. He needs this strike in the seventh.
Plus, Sterner has 2 opens. Van Hees is clean with a 3-bagger.
Come on.
Again, it's one of those situations where you start thinking to yourself, I got to strike out. His max score is 226. Van Hees is already at 218.
Come on.
6 around the 10.
God, dude.
It's like just getting
Jesus.
kicked in the gut over and over again. 2 really, really good shots on that lane for Jason, and he comes away with just back-to-back ringing 10s and disgust. This is Van Hees' tournament to win. You labeled him the wild card at the top of the show. Your wild card right now is up by 42 pins and is poised to win for the very first time out here on his very first telecast. Jonathan can now increase his lead to 52 pins with a strike right here.
Come on, John.
10 pin erased. The wild card is an ace in the hole.
When it's your time, MJ, it's your time, and it's not like he got lucky. He's bowled great. He's made the right moves. He's gotten some nice pin carry. Jonathan Van Hees, what a shot. What a shot-making clinic he's put on. It's just beautiful.
Spoke to him before the match. He was so focused. He was so energized. He was so into the moment. Counting on family support. In the middle of the event, he was down. His fiance told him, Jonathan, this is where your heart is.
Little check, little check.
Oh, 7-10 split.
Come on, Jonathan, let's see you make this for $100,000 in the ultimate spare.
We've seen pins jump out of the racks
We've
down
seen
here.
her come out. I think it's doable here. Oh, boy, that was the right spot, too.
Safe for now.
That was the right spot. So even with the disastrous pocket 7-10, he still maintains a 38-pin lead with the 9th and 10th frame to go for Jonathan Van Hees.
2:06 left for Jason Sterner. Anything less than strikes, Van Hees will cash in.
Stays alive.
Jason.
The PBA Scorpion Championship marks the end of the 2015 PBA Tour, which was begun with Jason Belmonte sweeping the first 2 majors, an unprecedented 3rd straight USBC Masters, following it up with a repeat at the Tournament of Champions. But the back half of the 2015 season belongs to Ryan Simonelli. A win at the PBA Fall Classic propelled him to his first major title at the US Open. Simonelli would follow that up with a win at the 2015 Viper Championship.
Player of the year? Huh? Maybe?
Maybe, Ryan, maybe. Here are the final 2015 stats, and the Player of the Year voting begins today. Back to action. Jason Sterner must strike against Jon Van Hees. 9th frame.
Come on.
Mixing, no. 7-pin stands.
Well,
Ouch.
he's made the shots he needed to make and just can't carry 10 pins on that right lane. Back to back to back 9 counts on pocket hits. You know, if he carries those 3 hits, we've got a tie ball game. Both players would have been in the 2 teens. Instead, Jason Sterner's in the 170s. Jonathan Van Hees 1 mark away. Jonathan Van Hees needs to stay behind the foul line and keep the ball in the lane for 2 frames.
Take it home, John.
176 max, or rather 186 max for Sterner, so 187 the magic number for Jon Van Hees.
This is like walking down the 18th green at Augusta with a 5-shot lead, and your ball is sitting in the middle of the green.
And the wind is at your back.
And you need to 2-putt. Excuse me. And you need to 5-putt. He needs 4 pins and 2 balls to win title number 1 on the PBA Tour.
Kelly Van Hees is Jon Van Hees' father, and Melanie Connolly placed that phone call to Jon Van Hees to remind him where his heart was.
I think I can manage this.
And now Jon Van Hees can step up and live out a dream to win a national title on the PBA Tour. He's worked so hard.
That's good, kid.
Jon Van Hees, you're a PBA Tour champion.
That's right here, baby.
He deserves it. He bowled magnificently, managed his game perfectly, and made great shots. Jonathan Van Hees earned this title.
Randy, that 4-bagger for Van Hees, 4th through 7th the key.
There, baby. Yeah.
That and the fact that Jason Sterner couldn't strike on the left lane.
Jon Van Hees earns his first PBA Tour title, and he'll visit with Kimberly Pressler when we return to the Kingpin Club. One of the most spectacular sights on earth, just a short drive from Reno, beautiful Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, it could quite possibly be one of the most beautiful places in the States. A must-see. How about a Geico Championship recap for you, MJ?
This is a must-see.
I'll tell you what, it was all about execution, making the right adjustments, and getting a little luck. It all added up to Jonathan Van Hees winning 202 to 176 and capturing title number 1, and that's your Geico Championship recap.
And then a chance to share it with the people that matter most, fiance Melanie Connolly and father Kelly Van Hees.
What a beautiful sight that is.
Kimberly Pressler is standing by with our champion.
Jon, when we talked earlier, you said that you were nervous to begin with, but as soon as you stepped out here, you knew that you were not going to be nervous at all. This is your first telecast. How did you manage to fight off those nerves?
Oh, I knew I was playing a game. I was going to have a lot of fun playing this game. All the hard work was already really done. I just had to come out here and show that the hard work was actually done. You know, I believe in all the work I put in, and I just had to come out here and make sure that I let that happen.
Now, you were very emotional after you threw that last shot. You went over and hugged your dad and your fiance, and Mike mentioned it earlier that you had said that when you were having doubts, you talked to Melanie this week, and she told you that this is in your heart and this is where you are meant to be. How true are those words for you standing here right now?
Well, they're true. You know, she was always there for me when I didn't believe in these things. She was the person that stood behind me. She was my rock, you know. No matter how much time or effort you put into something, there's always going to be doubts along the way. And you need somebody behind you, like the team I have at Brunswick, like the lady I have at home, the dad I have at home, my family, just everybody. I mean, I've got all New England rooting for me. I absolutely love it. And when you have that, it makes everything a lot easier.
Well, you have worked hard and you have earned it. Congratulations on your first ever PBA Tour title.
Coming up next Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN, it's the Roth-Holman PBA Doubles. Overcoming obstacles is a part of the long road on the way to becoming a champion. Jon Van Hees took that road and every path along the way to cash in for his very first title. The Scorpion Championship belongs to Jonathan Van Hees. For Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler, this is Mike Jakubowski. Double up the fun with us next Sunday on ESPN. Congratulations, Jon.